Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Brooke Johnson, and welcome to this season's first episode of your favorite debate show, Speechless. In this episode, we have an exciting lineup of topics. We'll be talking about everybody's favorite holiday, President's Day, a Taco Bell wedding, and we'll be closing out the show by discussing those sweet, sweet Oscar nominations. What an exciting array of topics to have for our show's return. You ready? Ready, set, speechless. But first, let's meet this week's debaters. Let's go over to the Dini Dinosaurs. How are you guys feeling tonight?
Pretty good. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. Awesome. And secondly, let's kick it over to the McGorry Murderers. You guys ready for some serious debating tonight?
We feel good.
Yeah? Great. All right, with all of that out of the way, let's go into tonight's first topic. President's Day is a humble little holiday that just passed by last weekend, and we can thank for our lovely day off. Originally formed as Washington's birthday, it has now later been grounded as a federal holiday where we mash all of our lovely presidents together in one single day. Today, we will see where our contestants stand on the combination of this day to remember the first leader of our country and other presidents from Abraham Lincoln to Ronald Reagan. All right.
So we're pro President's Day.
Okay.
We like the idea of it. And part of the reason is actually officially federally in the law books known still as just Washington's birthday. President's Day is more of a colloquial term that people have used, but is officially Washington's birthday. And so that is the main focus of the holiday.
Which was on the 20th, but it was actually his actual birthday is the 22nd.
Right. And that is because in 1971 they passed a law to move most federal holidays to Mondays to give workers more three-day weekends.
So we're not effectively actually celebrating his holiday. We are just celebrating President's Day, and President's Day was established at some point because we decided that we didn't want to celebrate Abraham Lincoln as a president or George Washington as a president. We decided to just generically celebrate all presidents because they are all wonderful and deserve praise. I disagree with that notion bigly. So I would say that it's not worth celebrating Andrew Jackson, excuse me. It's not worth celebrating another certain president and many other presidents that I could name. I think that we should instead single out particular presidents instead of giving each president praise like they're special snowflakes.
Okay, and that's a very good point. The problem is, you know, who decides what president deserves a holiday? We can barely agree on who to put our money on or even who's currently should be in charge of our country. I don't think choosing specific multiple days for multiple presidents is a thing that will go well at all. It'll become a huge partisan mess.
And
I'm pretty sure most people could agree Lincoln and Washington are worth celebrating. I don't think you're going to get a lot of objection there.
Well, one big factor is that American presidents, even if you like them or not, they influence a lot in the world. Like, for example, when I went to the Castle program in Europe, I talked to so many mayors and stuff like that, and they said that American presidents affect European decisions. So even if you don't like the president, they're worth celebrating because there's so much pride and so much strength in those presidents.
But it attaches this quasi-religious notion that we have to deify the president or fetishize the presidency. It's a public servant. It's not a king. It's not something that we have to have a holiday, which is short for holy day for. It's something that we should celebrate when it's done well, when they earn it. So I think that just generically celebrating all presidents as if they all did a good job is a foolish notion.
Well, I think the fact that our country gives a chance for the people to choose the president, it's not just even celebrating the presidents. It's celebrating the people's choice and what people decided, even though obviously not everyone agrees with everything. But I mean, it's something that just shows American pride at the end of the day.
So you think it's more of a celebration of democracy as a whole?
Yeah, and also if it starts with Washington, Washington was like the main one that started all of it.
Yeah. And no one, when they're celebrating President's Day, is going, yeah, we murdered Native Americans. We're just celebrating the idea that we have a president, and that's part of what makes America so special. I'm not here to excuse the atrocities America has committed. We've done a lot of terrible things, but I'm still proud to be an American, and I am proud to live in a world where I can at least in some part try and choose my leader.
How many holidays do we have celebrating the fact that we're a democracy? 3, 4?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, we could, if we wanted to celebrate America and democracy, we could call it America Day or Democracy Day.
Or the 4th of July.
Independence Day.
Or the 4th of July.
Thanks.
But the President of America, at the end of the day, is what symbolizes America. Even though we don't agree with it, that's what symbolizes Americans and America.
But what about Congress and the Senate?
Well,
do we
they're
have
Why don't
Congress
they
Day
have a
and the
holiday?
Senate Day?
Do you think that there's an
Really
argument?
want to celebrate your congressman?
I would actually say celebrating the fact that we have a Congress is more important. And once again, we put way too much emphasis on the presidency. But the other two branches of government are just as important. Why don't they get a holiday? The fact that the president has check and balances is the only reason that Trump doesn't have a ban on Muslims right now. We have to keep in mind that the presidency isn't this all-important thing that we put this religious value onto. I think it's a foolish notion.
I don't think as a country we are. We're just celebrating part of what makes America America. No one, again, by celebrating President's Day is discounting Congress, is discounting the House of Representatives. We are just here to celebrate something. No, I didn't go out and celebrate, President's Day by going, yay, Trump. I just observed the fact that it was a holiday. I was
Let's
thankful
also be
for
real, you didn't observe it. Most people don't.
And that's totally fair. Plus, if you want to make the argument there's a joke holiday, we've got, a joke president, and all people do is buy mattresses, which seems like a big joke anyway.
All right, good points made by everybody. I think we are going to go ahead and wrap it up. And after that intense conversation, we're going to toss it over to the judges to see what they think.
All right. Thanks, Brooke. That was interesting.
That was.
That was good.
Good to be.
That
All
was
right.
good.
Lauren, what do you think?
Okay, so I think both sides presented fair cases. I agree that not all presidents deserve to be celebrated. However, I do think the idea of democracy is something to be celebrated. And I personally think that the president does, may not be the, most important person in the country, but that's what he, stands for, and that's his face. So I would say I agree with pro-President's Day.
Yes, I thought it was a very good arguments presented by both teams, but I do agree with the dinosaurs that, especially for workers, an additional 3-day weekend and also celebrating democracy. And who wouldn't appreciate another day off?
I'm the lone wolf here. I thought both teams had great arguments, but I did believe that the murderers brought up a strong point that you need to deserve your holidays. If you've done something that the country celebrates and believes, then you deserve a holiday. But I'm gonna go with the murderers that I'm not for President's Day.
Well, after much conversation, the judges think that the Dini Dinosaurs completely trumped McGorry's Murderers. We'll be right back after our commercial break.
Lauren, what are you doing?
I'm getting ready to host Good Morning Emerson, of course.
Good Morning Emerson? What's that?
It's the best morning show ever that's on Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m.
Wow, how can I work on this?
Yeah, let's get going. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather.
Coming off a strong victory in the first round, it seems like Dini's Dinosaurs might just be able to take the day off. Will McGorry's Murderers be able to come back? Let's find out in our next debate. Recently, your favorite fast food restaurant made a huge announcement. A Taco Bell inside the Las Vegas Strip announced that they would now be officiating weddings for just a small upfront fee of $600. You will be given an officially ordained wedding, a private reception for up to 15 people, 12 packs of tacos, a Cinnabon Delight cake, a sauce packet bouquet for the lovely bride, of course, and special Taco Bell themed goodie bags. So we have to ask the question, how willing would you be to have your most magical day in taco paradise? Teams? Please.
Well, I wouldn't. Because, first of all, Taco Bell, there are plenty of other restaurants that I would much rather have a wedding at. I mean, yeah, McDonald's, IHOP, imagine a cake out of pancakes. That would be a quality wedding.
And just imagine your magical night starting with Taco Bell level gas.
Oh, that's
Taco
really
You know,
Bell.
if you can't be around your wife when she's just farting up a storm, then you're bound for divorce anyway.
Yeah, that could be a real bonus.
But that's a really good, that's a very good starting point. You know, starting the night under the sheets with gas and whatever else Taco Bell produces.
I think it's a real way to get in touch with your significant other.
I think we need to understand that it's in Vegas and that it's very fitting in the fact that it's in Vegas. And I think Taco Bell, there's a lot of people who don't want the extravagance of a wedding, or they even don't want like the jokiness that like Vegas gives. So the fact that Taco Bell, which could be a comforting factor between couples, maybe it's their usual date night, or maybe it's something they love together, and it's so comforting and funny and cool, and it's quirky for couples who don't want the extravagance of a wedding.
That just go for just any other quick married parish. You can get a marriage in Las Vegas for as cheap as $20 in some places, and you don't have to go to this place that's guilty of cultural appropriation and abuse of workers' rights and getting protest in Mexico for appropriating and profiting off of their culture. It's absurd. Yes, you have the freedom to get married wherever you want, but I have to say, this is pretty stupid. Like, I've heard of a lot of stupid places to get married, but this just might take the cake.
The Cinnabon Delight cake.
Yes.
I mean, I think this is really just a case of, like, let people do what they want. It's not ruining your hypothetical marriage if two people are getting married at Taco Bell. I think it's fun. You know, I know a couple whose entire relationship is based off the fact that one morning at 2 a.m. they ran and got tacos together, and that is when they started dating. And so, I don't know, maybe they'll get married at Taco Bell, but who am I to judge? If two people want to get married at Taco Bell, let people get married at Taco Bell.
Now, your parents are going to judge you if you say you got married in Vegas, but what do you think anyone is going to think if you say you got married at Taco Bell?
I'm not sure I could say anything to make my parents proud.
Exactly.
And for $600 too, maybe if it was like
McDonald's.
cheaper? Yeah, or if it was like a better quality restaurant?
Why are you paying $600 to do anything at Taco Bell?
Yeah.
I think it's really just comes down to letting people do what they want.
Okay, you live in a country that you by all means can drink yourself to death, be a shitty parent, or whatever else. But this is But this is also a country where we tell people when they are making stupid decisions, and if you are getting married at a dang Taco Bell, you are making a stupid decision. You are going to regret it for the rest of your life whenever you have to tell people, oh, I married my special someone at a Taco Bell. What the heck are you going to tell your kids? That you were conceived in the parking lot of a Taco Bell?
Well, I think this debate is also the fact we're just talking about that Taco Bell is put in Vegas. And if you're going to go to Vegas, you're already not making the smartest decisions for your wedding, and there's people who probably support already the decisions you're making.
Taco Bell makes it worse.
I think Taco Bell gives it a fun quirkiness that I think a Vegas wedding lacks. I mean, you are debating a kid whose parents told him his entire life he was named after alcohol. I'm pretty sure my parents would be able to look me in the eye and tell me I was conceived in a Taco Bell parking lot.
Getting married at the Ritz or at Trump Tower is quirky. Getting married at Taco Bell is trashy.
Yeah.
A fair point.
Well, I don't think it's fair to judge people where they want to get married at, and giving them the chance to get married at an adorable place like Taco Bell could be something fun.
Cultural appropriation and workers' abuse.
Well, I don't think that's what people think when they're getting married. Well, I'm going on a page, there's cultural
Because they're too
appropriation.
privileged.
So do you think that the sanctity of marriage is threatened by this sort of...
I think that if you get married at a Taco Bell, you're probably have mixed up priorities in life, and that probably will affect your marriage.
I think if you get married at Taco Bell, it's that you're in a cute relationship that just wants to do something funny instead of something serious.
I don't think where you get married affects your relationship. I think who's in the relationship affects the
Do
relationship.
you know the statistics on the success of Las Vegas marriages, they're pretty bad.
I mean, the success of regular marriages are already pretty bad.
It's like below the 20s.
All right, I'm going to cut it off right there. Let's let our judges chime in and see if they have anything to add.
This was a very interesting debate. Okay, so I am personally pro letting people choose where they want to get married, and Bailey brought up a really good point about like if a couple started dating, getting tacos, and they wanted to get married at Taco Bell, like sure, like I wouldn't, but that's just my personal preference. So.
Yeah, I also think that the dinosaurs had a better argument in this point for this debate, which was very interesting for speechless standards. I really appreciated it, but also it's more about who's in the relationship rather than where you're getting married, and why not let people choose?
Well, I personally would never get married in a Taco Bell. I did have to agree with the dinosaurs that it is a person's choice to decide where they get married, and who are we to say that you can't get married in a Taco Bell if you really want to.
All right, this debating is getting quite fired up. What will the last round hold for our debates? It looks like Dini's Dinosaurs won another round, but let's see how it turns out. We will talk about it when we return.
Oh boy.
Lauren, what are you doing?
I'm getting ready to host Good Morning Emerson, of course.
Good morning, Emerson? What's that?
It's the best morning show ever that's on Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m.
Wow, how can I work on this?
Yeah, let's get going. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather.
This upcoming weekend, we will be seeing one of the most exciting award shows of the year, the event that moviegoers wait for, the Oscars. The Oscars has an interesting potluck of movies on the chopping block this time around. Some say that this will be the most competitive night we've ever seen, for the Best Picture title specifically. However, as you look at the nominees, you might see a lot of the same movies up for almost every category. La La Land, Hidden Figures, Manchester by the Sea, Fences. What's up with all of these movies up for so many categories? Today we will ask our contestants if these movies are just the absolute cream of the crop, or are we seeing some sort of bias? Debaters?
So, we talked about this earlier, and yes, these movies, La La Land, Manchester by the Sea, Hidden Figures, Fences, they are great movies, and we have nominated them for Best Picture. But that doesn't mean they're the best in every category. They don't have to be the best directed, or they don't have to be the best sound mixed, or they don't have to be the best edited. But because of the way the system is set up, there are so many rules, and I read through them to get a movie nominated for the Oscars, that a bad movie that for otherwise, that wouldn't be nominated otherwise could be the best sound mixed movie in the world, and it will not get nominated.
Tell that to 13 Hours.
Can you expand on that?
13 Hours is nominated for Sound Mixing and Sound Editing Awards. It's terrible. It's made by Michael Bay. It's about Benghazi. It's historically inaccurate. It's terrible. Suicide Squad is nominated for Best Makeup because the makeup in that movie was absolutely fantastic. The movie itself is terrible, but Killer Croc legitimately looked like a lizard. And there's any other examples of this throughout history. Michael Bay movies have won Oscars even though they're terrible, but they're technically very astute. So I would say that, yes, La La Land has a lot of nominations this year, but are we going to say that the costume design is bad? Are we going to say that the editing is bad? No, everything about that movie was at least pretty well done. It's not my favorite movie of the year, but I'm not going to deny that it deserves any of these particular nominations. It's a very well made movie all around, and that's why it ends up being one of the better movies of the year. Ergo, why it's nominated for Best Picture. That's just how these things tend to work. If you disagree with the opinions of the Oscar on what movie is the best, that's fine. But if they decide that this movie is among the best, it's probably for a good reason.
Anything to add? Pretty much covered it?
Yeah.
Dini Dinosaurs?
Well, the thing is, we're not really arguing that La La Land is the best picture. We're arguing that it's not fair that it's in like a bunch of other categories.
Can you name a category it shouldn't be nominated in?
That's not the argument we're making. The argument we're making is that, yes, maybe 13 Hours got nominated for, best sound mixing, and maybe Suicide Squad did too, and those are bad movies, yes. And I'm not arguing for necessarily bad movies, but just a few of the rules to be nominated for an Oscar. It must have shown in LA. It must have had an original theatrical release, which prohibits a lot of really low budget or obscure foreign films that might be better than these American films.
They have to show in a theater for a week. That costs a few $1,000s. That's incredibly accessible. I'm sorry.
A theater in LA. Do you have a few $1,000s to spend right now?
If I had a movie, I would probably have a few $1,000s to put it into an Oscar campaign. Yeah.
Well, I don't.
A difficult argument to make.
If you think your movie is good enough to be nominated for Oscars, I'm sorry, you could throw aside a few $1,000s for a theatrical release.
Well, if there's already too many restrictions added on, like we go to Emerson, we know that there shouldn't be that much restriction towards art. Art is not meant for restriction. And the fact that there's so many, you lose so much amazing pieces that could have actually deserved the awards that they have.
A feature-length film releasing in one movie theater for a week, that's a pretty low
that's not
bar.
the only restriction.
That is not the only restriction. And I do want to point out,
What restriction? Okay, can you name a specific restriction that you think is unfair?
The debate is not about the restrictions. We're talking about...
That's the whole argument you're making.
Let him finish his.
Earlier, you spoke about privilege, and people couldn't see X because of privilege, but you are now spouting that you can go just spend a few $1,000s. We're talking, extreme indie or extreme foreign films that cannot physically put themselves in LA theaters that might be better. It's got to be in LA. It's got to have an original theatrical release. If I made a movie this summer, I don't have a few $1,000s to put it in a theatrical release. And I'm not saying I can make an Oscar-worthy movie this summer. That's not the point.
I would once again, I would say that you can raise a few $1,000s pretty easy on any number of websites. I think that they have to have some sort of standard, and I think just having a movie release in one movie theater for 1 week to the general public, and you're gonna make money off of that anyway, I think that's a reasonable standard. If you want to lower the bar so just any movie can access it, I also don't think that's the argument that we're having based on the discussion, based on what the host said. I think we're talking more about should a movie be nominated in every category if it's good. I just don't know what to say to you. You seem to have a weird standard.
Well, let's think about a business. The movie industry is basically a business, right? So when it comes to a business, you have to get a loan, either from the bank, either from family or friends, this and that. And it's so hard to let alone get a loan for that stuff. Imagine now, on top of that, you're already in debt. Oh, I have to spend $5,000 to release my movie in LA? It's gonna be hard to keep on adding.
All right, I think these have been some great arguments. I think we're going to go ahead and move on to the judges. Those were some movieing arguments, in fact, so far. And we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Welcome back, Emersonians. I'm Peyton Lewis, the host of the Evie-nominated and Evie-losing show, Common Agenda. Last season, we may have had a midlife crisis, but this summer we really found ourselves. After some deep soul-searching and some long nights mourning our defeat, we're back here for another season of the saltiest content and shenanigans on the Emerson channel. This season, we'll dive deep into Emerson's favorite subcultures, film bros, hipsters, and other white boys with brown hair. Turn us on Monday evenings at 8:30 on the Emerson channel.
Guys, I cannot have any more ramen.
Yeah, this food is really disgusting.
These are herbal cough drops.
Well, they're better than nothing.
I have some fruit if you guys want.
Those are Skittles.
Just trying my best.
Well, maybe we can just go to the DH.
What?
Oh my god, that stuff is prison food.
Well, do you have any other ideas?
Well, I'm like starving, so like we have to do something.
Did someone say something? Hi kids, Kitchen Man here. Did you know you can tune into Emerson Channel College Kitchen for great dorm-friendly, budget-friendly recipes?
Okay, but like what if I need to go out to brunch with my girls?
Try Taste of Boston, where we profile great local restaurants in the Boston area.
What if I only want to eat competitive chef's food?
Tune in to Sliced, our brand new competitive cooking show.
I want to watch College Kitchen.
But wait!
We are College Kitchen!
Welcome back, everybody, to Speechless. Let's throw it back to our judges one last time to see what they think.
Hello. Okay, so for the last debate, I think the Murderers won this one because if a movie is great in all categories, I don't think it has any reason to be not nominated in multiple different categories. So I would give it to them. I do feel like we veered a little off topic in some parts, but overall, I thought they won.
Yeah, it was a great, lively debate, and I agree that I really enjoyed the Murderers argument on this one. I think also a movie has to be very accessible to the audience that's going to watch the Oscars, so that they can keep up with it. So yeah, and if it's like qualified for all the categories, why not be nominated?
To say I agree with my fellow judges. If someone's worked incredibly hard on their portion of a movie, and that's in costume, sound, and all the categories, and I think people's hard work deserves to be recognized. So I'm going with the Murderers.
Well, no offenses to Dini Dinosaurs. Get it, fences. Anyways, but your argument was just not good enough. This one has got to go to McGorry's Murderers. But it looks like overall, Dini Dinosaurs takes the evening. So thank you all for tuning into this very exciting episode. Join us next week on Thursday night on the Emerson Channel. Stay speechless, everybody.